Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. This week's article is from the pages of Amicus Illuminismi, A Rare Glimpse at Revolution, the Pennsylvania Gazette in the Supreme Council Archives, by Brother B. Chris Ruley, 32nd degree KCCH, and read by Brother Hank Griffin, 32nd degree KCCH, and comes from the November-December 2025 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal.
Earlier this year, while relocating our archive materials over to the new archives room at the House of the Temple, the author discovered a rather unique piece of American history, an original copy of the December 24, 1773 edition of the Philadelphia Gazette, which featured an early public notice concerning the Boston Tea Party. This special item had been boxed together with other, albeit more contemporary, newspapers as a part of our antique newspapers collection. Admittedly, the publication's title first caught my attention, as the newspaper had been operated by famous Freemason and Founding Father Benjamin Franklin. Upon closer examination, however, I soon discovered the exciting story contained on the page. This is a clear instance that one never knows what one will stumble upon in our eclectic collection at the House of the Temple. The notice, reproduced here in full, is well preserved despite its age and a predecessor's attempt to keep the piece together with Scotch tape. On the back of the piece, we find a brief handwritten note denoting the item's subject matter. December 24, 1773, the first seizure of tea at Boston that began all our troubles. The item's provenance or record of past ownership is a mystery. A search of the Supreme Council's early transactions, which often included notes of notable acquisitions in the library and museum, did not uncover a mention of the paper. It is more likely that the item was donated privately and may have been part of a larger collection donation. Nevertheless, the notice found itself nestled together with other antique newspapers in our periodical collection. On the page's front, the events related to the December 16, 1773 Boston Tea Party protest of British taxation by the American colonists can be found on the top of the second column. The people immediately, as with one voice, called for a dissolution, which having obtained, they repaired to Griffin's Wharf, where the tea vessels lay, proceeded to fix tackles, and hoisted the tea upon deck, cut the chest to pieces, and threw the tea over the side. There were two ships and a brig, Captain Hall, Bruce, and Coffin, each vessel having 114 chests of tea on board. They began upon the two ships first, as they had nothing on board but the tea, then proceed to the brig, which had hauled to the wharf but the day before, had but a small part of her cargo out. The captain of the brig begged that they would not begin with his vessel, as the tea was covered with goods belonging to different merchants in town. They told him the tea they wanted and the tea they would have, but if he would go to his cabin quietly, not one article of his goods should be hurt. They immediately proceeded to remove the goods and then dispose of the tea. The piece itself provides clues as to how certain contemporary Americans, then subjects of the British Crown, thought about the events in the port of Boston. Perhaps the most obvious or striking feature of the notice is that it had been printed on one side as an addendum to the day's main paper. This suggests that the news arrived in Philadelphia so quickly and with such a great sense of urgency that the printer decided to produce this run immediately. Speaking of printers, while Benjamin Franklin retired from the printing business in 1748, the paper continued to operate through a business partner, David Hall. Franklin and his first business partner, Hugh Meredith, purchased the paper in 1729. The paper's contents and reputation, most certainly aided by Franklin's then growing reputation, made it a nationally popular source for news and commentary. Retirement did not, however, prevent Franklin from contributing to his former paper, which he did regularly, especially during the tumultuous War of Independence period when the Gazette publicly favored independence and promoted stories to that effect. Franklin contributed his famous Join or Die cartoon to the Gazette, which later became a major symbol of the cause for liberty. The Pennsylvania Gazette ceased operations in 1800, a decade after Dr. Franklin's death. The paper's legacy and impact on national events, however, cannot be understated. Indeed, the Saturday Evening Post, still published today, and one of the longest-running magazines in the United States, and at one time the most popular and influential, traces its origins to the Pennsylvania Gazette.
Like and share this article, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you wish to comment, please leave one, and as a reminder, hit the notifications bell. Any accompanying photographs or citations for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, Managing Editor. Thanks for listening.